Well, good afternoon and welcome to Lichtsinn RV, where we're literally located only 1 mile north of the Winnebago, Itasca, and Winnebago Touring Coach Division of Winnebago Industries right here in Forest City, Iowa. I want to welcome all of you to today's live monthly webcast, in which we're going to talk a little bit about transition of diesel pusher production, which can mean some limited supply between now and wintertime. We're also going to talk about key features of certain Winnebago diesel pushers that are available to you, our guests. Before we get started, I just want to cover a few housekeeping items if I could. One of the things that makes these webcasts so informational is when we can communicate with you during these live monthly webcasts and cover all of the questions that are important to you as our guest. So if you look on the right-hand side of the player, you'll see two tabs. You'll see the video tab and the chat tab. Please submit your questions. Any question is a fair question. I have a big old bullseye on my back. I'm willing to talk about anything that is important to you, our guest. And so just chat those questions in live. And as we do so and as we transition into those questions, I want to welcome some very special guests that we have with us today. Jason Brookoff is literally our diesel pusher expert here at Lichtsinn RV. We have all 7 of our factory trained consultants that are very knowledgeable, but Jason really specializes in the diesel pusher segment. So I want to welcome Jason.
Good afternoon.
Jason's also going to be moderating our chat. So as you chat your questions in, we'll cover those, and we'll cover those real time. So as you submit a question, we'll go ahead and cover that so that it's important to you as our guest. I also want to welcome behind the camera today, Callie Schmidt. Callie is our marketing manager here at Lichtsinn RV. And also my beautiful wife, Hope Litzen, who is also behind the camera today. So again, please take advantage of the opportunity to communicate with us as we go through diesel pusher production, transition, as well as key features in the diesel pusher array. Also keep in mind that this same type of a live appointment we can do in the comfort of your own home or office at any point in time, on any of our in-stock RVs that we have here, literally only a mile from the factory here in Forest City, Iowa. All of our factory-trained consultants have the ability to go live and communicate with you on any of our in-stock RVs, which is a great opportunity to create a virtual appointment. You can see the exact same thing that we're seeing in pure high-definition technology. We can also then conference in a partner or a spouse and have a great three-way in terms of covering that RV that's important to you. So again, take advantage of that as we go through the balance of this year. But today we're going to cover some logistical information with respect to diesel pusher production. Many of you may have seen the press release that Winnebago put out about a year and a half ago, in which they had communicated that they were going to move their diesel pusher production to Junction City, Oregon. So that was about a year and a half ago. We're kind of at that point in time right now where that transition is really starting to hit us in full force. And what that means for you as our guest is the fact that the 4 current diesel pushers that Winnebago currently offers, the Forza, the Journey, the Tour, and the Grand Tour, will begin migration for production out to Junction City, Oregon. Currently, the Winnebago Forza is still being built here in Forest City, but we have now stopped production of the Winnebago Journey, the Tour, and the Grand Tour, and they now are beginning in production out in Oregon. And what that means for you is that we will not see any of those new models until late fall, early winter. So to protect you, our guest, we went and took the opportunity to purchase from Winnebago the balance of Winnebago Journey 36M inventory. So as you look on our website at our search results pages under the new inventory section, at one point we had about 8 of these different Journeys. We're now down to 3. So you want to hurry and take advantage of the right color selection and content that you might want. We have 3 on our search results page. We also have 1 backup as well. So there literally will be 4 36Ms that are available between now and late fall, early winter. The Tour and Grand Tour have also been migrated out to Junction City, Oregon. And we also took advantage of purchasing the balance of 42 QL inventory. We also have a 45 RL that'll be here shortly. So again, we have great availability currently on the Winnebago Journey and the Grand Tour array of floor plans and inbound inventory. So you want to take advantage of that between now and fall and winter. How'd I do?
Perfect.
Any questions?
The first question is that stainless steel trim And then it says, or mirror. I think maybe just asking about the finish of the mirror here.
So we want to cover these questions. The second part of our webcast that we wanted to cover for you today, in addition to making certain that all of our guests are aware of that transition in limited supply in the diesels, we want to cover key features. And the Winnebago Journeys and the Winnebago Grand Tours that we did purchase from Winnebago all have the latest and greatest equipment. And some of those are some fairly critical performance changes that we want to make certain that we cover for you. The question that one of our guests had chatted in talking about the mirrors, and Jason, you can probably touch on this a little bit because it is a unique proprietary advantage that Winnebago offers in terms of the size of the mirrors and then a nice upgrade with the stainless steel valance trim.
Yep. So the stainless steel valance trim, that actually is 12 inches in height, and which you've probably seen over the course of the years. The Tour had 6-inch stainless steel valance trim, and this has the 12-inch. The mirrors over here are the largest in the industry. Winnebago uses the largest mirrors there along with the windshield wipers, but your side cameras are also integrated into that, into the mirror as well. So.
Yeah, so one of the things in terms of the front end of this coach, like Jason talked about, the front windshield, that panoramic one-piece windshield is literally the tallest in the industry. We then also invest in true 3-foot wiper blades, taller chrome mirrors, and of course the integrated side camera monitoring system that is included in the much larger 10.4-inch capacitive touchscreen Rand McNally infotainment with GPS setup. So great question in terms of the chrome mirrors and also the upgrade that you receive with respect to the taller stainless steel valance on the Grand Tour compared to the actual Winnebago Tour.
So another question in from our guest is, when will Winnebago ensuring the production quality during this transition? And along with that, also Forza production, will that move out to Oregon? Yeah,
so really a good two-part question there. Let's cover the easy one first. Winnebago Forza is currently still being built here in Forest City. Eventually it will migrate out towards Junction City, Oregon, as with the rest of the diesel pusher segment. One of the things that I can comment on is the fact that we have these delays in production really is being caused by the fact that Winnebago has ensured very strict quality control with respect to that production center out in Junction City, Oregon. John Millis is actually heading up that plant out in Junction City, Oregon. Absolutely salt of the earth and a gentleman that has been in the RV industry his entire life and really is maintaining those strict quality control standards. Another attraction that Winnebago had that they talked about a year and a half ago is the quality of workforce out in Junction City, Oregon. Outstanding people that were former employees of the Country Coach brand, a very high quality, high-end coach. A lot of those employees being able to work now for Winnebago Industries in Junction City. So real high quality people, just like we have here in Forest City. An area of community that very similarly mirrors what we have here in Forest City. So we are seeing some delays in terms of buildup, which is why we wanted to make all of our guests aware of the fact that we do have limited supply, but yet we did make that investment in purchasing the balance of inventory. But just understand that Winnebago in no way will compromise quality as they make this transition.
Next question. I see some models have air leveling. Why would I want to get rid of the hydraulic feature?
Okay, so that's a good question, and that's one of the key features that we wanted to talk about. And Callie, we're going to focus more towards the Grand Tour segment with respect to the fact that the question dealt with air leveling, and that was one of the key features that we wanted to cover. The 45RL, when it originally came out, the 45-foot floor plan, debuted an option of air leveling. That's an added option. So not only do you have air leveling, you still do have hydraulic leveling. So you actually have the opportunity for both. And with respect to hydraulic leveling being standard, what air leveling allows you to do is that if you're off the grid RVing, if you're pulling into an over the road truck stop, if you're staying somewhere temporarily overnight where they don't allow you to utilize your hydraulic leveling, you can still level the coach with the air leveling added option that's available now. That is an option that comes from HWH, which is also the manufacturer of the automatic hydraulic leveling jacks. The nice thing about it is that it functions similarly to the fact that it will get you as level as a hydraulic leveling system, but it also maintains your level. through an air manifold that is specific to the air leveling system that recalibrates itself every
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yep.
Now you know understand why I brought our expert. So again, it recalibrates every 30 minutes. So the nice thing about that is it's dedicated. You don't have to do any maintenance to it. Once you level that coach, it's going to keep you level from the standpoint if you have people coming in and out, you change the way that you're going to use your RV, and that is an option that is now specific to the Grand Tour. This happens to be a 42QL, which is the higher amenity, higher content version of what has been one of our most successful, if not the successful floor plan that we've had since its debut in 2010, which is the 42QD. So that is one of the features that we wanted to cover today, was air leveling. So thank you for submitting that question. We're good on questions? Okay. So all of the Grand Tours that we will have available for you as our guests, they did include some nice upgrades in terms of performance and handling. And one of the things that we wanted to cover was the fact that all of our 42QLs and our 45RLs will be side radiators. Now, over time, and again, this is our opinion, but over time we found that sometimes that side radiator concept is a little bit overblown, and it's more of a marketing term because, and I'm going to kind of pop the clutch here a little bit, Callie, and swivel around here. The difference between a side radiator and a rear radiator. Winnebago has overcome the challenge with a rear radiator from the standpoint that ever since we've been building this style of diesel pusher, we have also included, and Kelly, if you can swivel around to this side, and we're going to try to film right up here. Winnebago has always brought in fresh cold air intake from a clean position. So one of the reasons why you might want a side radiator, which would be located over here, and we'll show you that on the Grand Tour 42QL here in a second, is you want clean air coming into the engine. So Winnebago has done this since about 2000 in terms of bringing in a clean air intake from up top. We're consistently getting clean air for that clean air intake for that diesel pusher segment. We now offer the side radiator, and really the big difference now, since Winnebago does bring in that clean air intake, is serviceability. So if you do service your own RV, it does give you a little bit easier access to the engine to have a side radiator, but in either situation, you're going to get that good clean air intake, whether it be on this Forza product or this particular floor plan that you're looking at on camera today, which is the Journey. How'd I do?
Awesome.
Awesome. So good question with respect to side radiators, the difference between side and rear, and that was one of the things that we had wanted to cover today. Also, Callie, if you can follow me now, we're going to walk down this aisle and cover, with respect to the Winnebago Grand Tour, this coach also debuted, and you have to be very careful if you're looking at other Grand Tours and tours in the marketplace, because they all don't have the fact that this new coach includes UltraSteer. So all of our tours and Grand Tours will have the independent front suspension. It's a ZF independent front suspension that allows the ability that as you transition over different terrain, that one of those wheels will absorb the jounce. So you might see your wheels fluctuating kind of like this. Most of the vehicles that you drive will have independent front suspension. All of our tours and Grand Tours have always had that, and this coach does include the independent front. But what we're really talking about with respect to UltraSteer is the fact that we have a rear tag axle that will actually turn and follow the pathway of the coach. So we have our main rear axle, and then with respect to our tag axle, this particular coach will actually turn the rear tag axle to follow your path up to 12 degrees. So that wheel will turn up to 12 degrees, and it will improve your turning radius by 17%. That 17% is a 140% improvement over previous models. Now, the UltraSteer of allowing this rear tag axle to turn and follow the pathway of the coach also then allows the ability to remove tire scrub. So what tire scrub means is that as you turn, obviously this rear tag axle, if it doesn't turn, you're going to see a little bit of tire scrub over time on the outside of the rear wheels. So not only do you receive an improved turning radius, but you also alleviate that tire scrub, which is notorious with tag axle floor plans. You'll get a true 60-degree turning radius with respect to this coach when you have independent front suspension and then also UltraSteer to the rear. So the way that UltraSteer will work is that it operates anytime the coach is navigating faster than 20 miles per hour and not in reverse. So it will lock itself out to provide that nimble turning capability under 20 miles per hour and when it's in reverse.
Yep.
Agree?
I agree.
Diesel expert?
100%.
Awesome.
So that covered one of the questions, was what is UltraSteer? So hopefully we covered that for you. Another question is there any plans to offer a Forza model with the trim level that of the Journey?
Oh, good question. So with respect to the Winnebago Forza, available in similar lengths, we've found that over time that 36-foot diesel pusher tends to be the most popular. It allows you to get into the national park systems. It allows you to get into rural resorts. This 36M has been one of our most popular, if not the most popular, diesel pusher floor plan that we offer. With respect to the Forza, our understanding is that it will maintain itself at that position. Currently, we're not aware of any changes to bring in the Maxum chassis that the Journey has, the unique heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system that the Journey has, but also some of the interior appointments that the Journey has down into the Forza line. Really, we want to maintain all the volume that we have and just the affordability of that Forza product. That Forza product it's a unique RV because it is a shorter RV. So for those of you that have 12-foot pole barns or storage sheds, you know, we've got the ability to store that coach in more indoor locations. And when you do that with the Journey, then it brings to a taller coach. Agree? Disagree?
Yep. Agreed.
Cool. So if we could just wrap up on the whole side radiator, rear radiator discussion, we'll show you what that looks like. Again, all of our Grand Tours will have side radiator. Let's see what I can trip and fall over. So again, engine access here, but really where the benefit of having a side radiator is as this hinges up, you've got more engine access to a side radiator style setup. But again, even if we don't have a side radiator, whether it's a Journey or if you're looking at one of our pre-owned RVs, we always bring that fresh air intake from up high. So you still have the clean air intake, which in this case in a side radiator is right in this location. This becomes your cold air intake, but it does provide a little bit of easier engine access. How are we doing?
Next question here, I see Freightliner showing V-Ride suspension. What is it, and is it on the Winnebago diesel products?
Yeah, and since Jason was kind of swiveling around there, I'm just going to repeat that question. Guest was talking about the marketing that Freightliner is doing right now with respect to V-Ride. V-Ride is a unique enhancement to the rear suspension. And the original primary benefit was for single axle floor plans. So for example, with this 36M, we don't have a tag axle. It's a single rear axle. And what V-Ride allows us to do is to strengthen that rear axle, but also then alleviate and provide more stability in cornering at highway speeds. So with respect to this Journey, we have a strengthened rear axle that's a 21,000 pound gross vehicle on the rear axle. So that rear axle weight rating is 21,000 pounds in a Journey, so it's a stronger rear axle. But also what it does is it provides better maneuverability and stability when traveling at highway speeds during cornering. So you don't have the tip that you might find in the rear hip line of the coach when you have V-Ride in your RV. So V-Ride right now is available in the Journey, the Tour, and the Grand Tour. It now, with the latest and greatest Winnebago Forza products, all of which our inventory do have, V-Ride is now in every single diesel pusher that Winnebago offers. So this coach will have a 21,000 pound rear axle weight rating. The Winnebago Forza, double check my math, has a 17,500 pound rear axle weight rating. So again, 17.5 in the Forza, 21 in the Journey, and 30,000 pounds in the 42 QLs and 45 RLs.
Yep.
But great question on V-Ride. Also, all of our vehicle display pages, so each of our individual internet listings, we have the second video in the playlist will include a Freightliner video on V-Ride so that you can see in action the increases in performance and the better stability that you have in cornering at highway speeds.
All caught up.
Good. So great questions today, and that's really what provides the most of the value to you, our guests. We also wanted to touch on just a few things that the Grand Tours that we stock now do have. The Grand Tours that we stock, whether it be the 42QL or the 45RL, we also now have in-floor radiant heating in the high polished porcelain tile. And Winnebago has, as normal with Winnebago lineage, they're always not first to the marketplace, but when they do it right. And with respect to in-floor heat, you've seen this in other manufacturers. We've seen this in pre-owned inventory that we bring in on trade where they put in electrical heating elements in their in-floor heating. Winnebago has really researched this out and methodically designed the in-floor heating system, and it then ties into the Aqua Hot system. So we're actually using in-floor radiant lines that utilize the same glycol technology as we utilize out of our Aqua Hot hydronic heating system. So again, that Aqua Hot hydronic heating system not only provides you continuous unlimited hot water, it also provides your primary heat source, and now in this case, it also provides in-floor radiant heating in the new Grand Tours. And that's an option, but it will be on all of the Grand Tours that we've recently purchased to provide that supply for the balance of summer and fall.
And I would say, on that in-floor radiant heating, Winnebago does a great job because their water lines that they run through the floor are only 4 inches in separation. And so you don't have those cold spots where a lot of other manufacturers, you might have, an 8 to 12 inch gap in there and a few more cold spots. So again, as Ron said, very well done on the Winnebago design.
Yeah, and that's actually some of the feedback. If you go to some of the internet forums that you'll read about other manufacturers that use electrical heating elements, very difficult to determine if you ever do have any kind of an issue where you've got those cold spots. Very difficult to identify. But as we've always talked about on all of our videos that we do, utilizing that computer-aided design in the development of our RV floor plans, the specifications that Jason just walked through, providing those tolerances in quality to be able to provide that pure radiant floor experience. So a lot of people, and this has been some of our feedback, they think to themselves that I really don't need a heated floor in your RV, but it's really a comfortable setup because we can program this for you so that those floors only kick on when you're getting ready to go to bed and they shut themselves off. Then we can have them kick back on when you wake up. So you've got that nice warm floor when you jump out of bed in the morning, and then you can kick it off for the balance of the day. So some nice flexibility in terms of the way that we can program that in-floor heating with our new one-touch multiplex wiring system.
Next question is, what powers the Aqua Hot system?
Good question. And so just to reiterate, the question was, what powers the Aqua Hot system? Winnebago uses a 450D setup.
Correct.
The Aqua Hot 450D setup actually is a combination of utilizing an electrical heating element. So when you're plugged into shoreline power, you can run it off of electricity. That's really more of a maintainer though. Once you get to your destination, you have the vehicle and your RV, your home on wheels, set up the way that you want it. The second heating source becomes a diesel burner. The diesel burner is the stronger of that technology. It'll get quicker hot water, quicker and more robust heating. But once you actually get things set to your temperature that you like, that electrical element can take over and provide the fuel source for that Aqua Hot system.
All good?
Good. So again, we've got a couple of Grand Tours that are on the ground now that are 42 QLs. We have a 45 RL that'll be inbound shortly. We have two of the different 36-foot floor plans, whether it's a 36G Forza or a 36M Journey available. And again, that's going to be the balance of production that we see in the Journey and the Grand Tours until fall and winter as they ramp up production out in Junction City, Oregon, just to reiterate one of the goals of the information we're trying to provide you today. So we talked about the fact that all of the Grand Tours are going to have UltraSteer. There'll be side radiators. We do have air leveling that we talked about earlier, and then also the in-floor heat. So 4 pretty significant performance change upgrades with the latest and greatest Grand Tours, and then a couple of significant factory installed options that we offer.
Okay. A question that just came in is, what is the future of the Itasca lineup?
Good question. And officially, the Itasca name has been retired. All of the current models that were available, if they're still being built, are now housed under the Winnebago franchise. So that's why you won't see an Ellipse, an Ellipse Ultra, or in the Journey line, you won't actually see a Meridian any longer. They're not being built and are not currently available. So, good question though. We get that question a lot. Good?
Caught up, yep.
Okay, so the other thing that we wanted to cover, all of our Journeys, we talked about V-Ride to the rear. Also some nice new enhancements with respect to the Journey line that our coaches are going to have. We do have 1 or 2 different Journeys that will have factory installed tire pressure monitoring into the new infotainment center. And we also have the ability to utilize smart wheel technology with additional paddle controls on the steering wheel. You'll see that in the media on our vehicle display pages. So some unique upgrades to the Journey 36Ms that we also have available in inventory.
One question that just came up is kind of touching on the Carefree Diesel Days and what that entails.
Yeah, go ahead. You can cover.
So basically, you know, for the kind of the history of Winnebago, their basic limited warranty has been 1 year, 12,000 miles. And now through August 31st, any diesel pusher model that is purchased will qualify for a 3-year, 100,000 mile basic limited warranty. So, you know, I mean, you've got a plethora of coverage there. Good opportunity to take advantage of, you know, the coach yet this summer before that August deadline, and take advantage of that long warranty that Winnebago's offered.
And it is kind of, maybe you can kind of read between the lines with respect to how coincidental that August 31st date is, because we'll start to be able to place orders for that late fall, early winter production season with respect to Junction City, Oregon coaches. We do have some coaches that are currently being built in Oregon. All of our Winnebago Journey 40Js, our current Winnebago Grand Tour 45 RLs were the first models to go online out in Junction City, and then you'll see the rest follow suit. But again, yeah, 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty that replaces the original 12-month, 15,000 mile warranty, and it's included on all 17 Winnebago diesel pusher product, not necessarily the Winnebago Via product. Good on question?
Yep.
So again, we just wanted to kind of provide you that information, make certain that you're all aware of it so that it doesn't come as a shock to any of you. But really to outline some of the key features that we talk about on our vehicle display pages. So we've had some really wonderful questions today, and we thank you for that. And so as we wrap up here today, I just want to thank you all for joining us today for our monthly webcast, where we've kind of covered limited production within the diesel pusher segment from Winnebago Industries. We've taken a lot of great questions live.
Yep.
And are we up to
yeah, just another question.
Okay.
Meridian and Ellipse being discontinued, which yes, they are, and that falls underneath that Itasca, which again is going to be retired, but again, no Ellipse or Meridian series going forward.
Yeah, so the Itasca Meridian would have been the twin line to the Winnebago Journey line, and the Ellipse and Ellipse Ultra being the twins to the Tour and Grand Tour line. So again, I want to thank you all for great questions today. We're going to actually keep our chat lines open, where we actually staff our chat on our website with factory trained consultants. So if you have additional questions that we haven't covered, we honestly can cover them real time with our factory trained consultants. But also, if there's something you want to see, challenge our consultant and ask them to go out on the lot and show that to me in pure high definition, which we can do. We can also do the same type of an appointment, the same type of live interactive presentation in the comfort of your own home or office on any of our in-stock RVs. We can do that indoors or outdoors, as we have Wi-Fi that blankets our campus. It's a great opportunity for us to showcase in pure high definition what you might see going on to another dealer's lot, with all the expertise that our factory trained consultants that can provide. So again, I want to thank Callie and Hope behind the scenes. As we do with all of our live monthly webcasts, we will archive these in our video library on Lichtsinn.com. You can peruse those. We actually will also reply to comments that are posted on our YouTube channel. And so it's a great opportunity for us to communicate with you with your preferred method of communication. So I also want to thank Jason today for helping out with our webcast and taking time away from his guest base. And again, thank you for joining us here at Lichtsinn RV, where we literally are only 1 mile north of the Winnebago, Itasca, former Itasca, and Winnebago Touring Coach Division of Winnebago Industries, right here in Forest City, Iowa.